Hello everyone, welcome back to Nirja Education. Today in this video, we are going to discuss the remaining topics of chapter 4, that is bones and muscles of class 5th. Dear children, in the previous video, means the part 1, we had already discussed about the skeletal system, right? What is skeletal system, and we also discussed the different parts of skeletal system. In that, we already discussed in detail about skull, rib cage, backbone and bones in arms and legs, that is limbs, right? So now today in this video we are going to discuss about joints and muscular system. So now let's start. So dear children, tell me, what do you mean by joints, right? What are joints? So joints are a place where two bones meet, right? It is the place where two bones meet. So dear children, what if there are no joints in our body? Suppose if our body is made up of only one single bone, or if there are no joints, then our body will be very much stiff, right? We cannot move. So with the help of joints, we can move easily, right? So joints help the skeleton to move. All the bones are connected to another bone, right? So in our body, all of the bones, they are connected to each other, right? All of them, they are connected to some other bones. The ends of bones are covered with a thin layer of cartilage which cushions the joint. So the ends of the bone, they are covered by the cartilage. So what is cartilage? So cartilage is also one type of connective tissue, right? So what it does? So it cushions the bones and it prevents the bones from rubbing, right? So that we can easily move. Then bones are held together by strong elastic bands called ligaments. So in our body there are some special structures which helps the bone to be held together, right? And those special structures are nothing but the ligaments. Ligaments are the strong elastic bands. They are fibrous in nature, and what does it do? So it holds the bone together, and that is why we can freely move. It provides the elasticity in our body. So this was all about joints. So now dear children, there are two types of joints. One is the immovable joint and the another one is movable joints. So now we will discuss about it in detail. So now first let's discuss about the immovable joints, right? So immovable joints, they are also known as fixed joints, right? Why fixed joints? Because they do not move. Either they move little bit or they do not move, right? So what is immovable joint? So an immovable joint is a place where two bones are joined together where little or no movement happens, right? So it is the place, right, where two bones are joined together. Means it is the place of the attachment of two bones where there is little or no movement happens, right? If there is any movement, then it will be very much little or there will be no movement, right? So this is known as the immovable joints. Now where you can see this type of joints? So there are several bones joined together in the skull to give it a fixed shape. So this immovable joints can be observed in the skull part, right? In the skull part of the skeletal system, means the head region, the bones of the head. They are having this immovable joints or the fixed joints. Then another example are joints between the teeth and joints in the pelvis area. These all are the immovable joints. And dear children, there are some space between these joints which helps them to move little bit, right? So you can see whenever you will observe the skull part, you will observe some spaces are there. So there are some little space which helps them to move little bit and which gives them support, right? This provides the cushion to the bones, and so that they can tolerate the certain blow off to the head, right? So whenever we hit our head or whenever we had some type of accident, so at that time our bone doesn't break that much easily. Why? Because of this spaces and the cartilage and the ligaments that are present with these bones, right? So here this is all about immovable or fixed joints. Now we will discuss about the movable joints. So now let's discuss about movable joints. So what are movable joints? So the joints that we are able to move freely in our body are called movable joints. The joints which in our body we can move freely, right? We can move easily. So those type of joints are known as movable joints. These joints are covered with a strong tissue called cartilage, which prevents the bones from rubbing against each other. As I already told you that these bones are covered with the cartilage, same manner these joints, they are also covered with this strong tissue called cartilage, which prevents the rubbing against each other, right? This prevents the rubbing of the bones towards each other. So cartilage is playing a major role in this body structure, right? Then where we can find this type of movable joints? So they are found in the arms, legs, hip and shoulders. So over here we can find this movable joints. As we all know that we can move our wrist, we can move our hands, we can move our shoulder, we can move our legs, the hip part, everything, right? We can bend also. So over here we can find this movable joints and immovable joints, that is in our brain, right? So we cannot move our different bones of our brain, right? We can move this neck part, right? So here it is movable, but in this brain we cannot move the bone, so it is immovable. So you have to remember these examples, that where we can find this immovable joints and where we can find this movable joints. So now dear children, there are mainly 4 types of immovable joints. So now we will discuss about those different 4 types of movable joints in detail. So now let's first discuss about the hinge joints. So hinge joints allows the movement only in one direction. You can see that the name itself tells us that this type of joints, they are like the hinges, right? Hinges that are present in door, right? Whenever we open or close the door, we can observe the movement in the door because of that hinges which are attached to them, right? So same way these joints are also like the hinges, so that is why their name are hinge joints, and these joints, they only allows the movement in one direction. Same way, like we can open and close the door in the one direction, right? We cannot open or close it in the both side, only in one direction. So same way this joint also allows the movement in only one direction. Where we can find this type of joints? So they are found in elbows, knees, fingers and toes. Obviously we can move our elbow in this direction, right? Only up to this. Now we cannot bend it downside, right? So this is only one sided direction. Same way our knees, right? We can bend our knees only in one direction, not on the either side, right? We can only move our fingers like this, right? We cannot move it backward totally. Our fingers will not bend totally and it will not move in the same manner like this as we are moving right now, right? So this way we can tell that this type of joints are found in elbows, knees, fingers and toes. Then second one is the ball and socket joint. Yes, again the name itself tell us that this type of joints, they are like ball and socket joint, right? Socket is the hollow structure where something is fit, right? So same, it allows the movement in all directions. So it's like if this is the socket structure and this is the ball, so it will fit like this and it will move everywhere, right? It will allow the movement in every direction. So here one bone is like a ball and fits into the hollow socket of the other bone, which enables them to move freely, as I already told you. Like this is the socket and this is the ball, and this will helps it to move in all the direction. And where we can find this ball and socket type of joints? So ball and socket joints are found in hip and shoulders, right? So this was all about hinge joints and the ball and socket joints. Now the third one is the pivot joints, right? So here also the name itself suggests that these joints are like the pivot, right, like a pin or a shaft, so that they can move. So this type of joints, they are found between our head and neck region, means this skull part and this vertebrae part, right. So it allows our head to turn left and right and also allow it to move up and down. So this type of joints, they help our head to move right, then left, up and down. So this way we can move our head, right, this part. The next one is the gliding joints. So what gliding joints, why this name? Because it glides, right. So the bones, they glide over each other. So it allows the bone to slide on each other, glide past one another in any direction along the plane of the joints, right. Like if these are the two bones, then they will glide, means they will move, they will slide on each other. So this helps in this type of movement. Where these joints are found? So these joints are found between the vertebrae in the backbone, wrist and ankle. So this gliding joints are found between the vertebrae in the backbone, then the wrist part and the ankle part in our legs, right. So these all are the 4 different types of movable joints. So here this skeletal system, and now we will discuss about the muscular system. Okay. So dear children, we already studied that the skeletal system, it helps us to move, right. Same way the muscular system, it also helps in the movement of our body. How? So bones alone, they cannot move the body, right. They need something which is attached to them, and then only they can move. So the muscles, right, this muscular system is made up of different type of muscles. So these muscles are attached to the bones, and then they allow the movement in our body, right. So there are 640 muscles in the human body. How many muscles are there in the human body? So 640 muscles. They are made up of tough elastic tissues. So what these muscles are made up of? So they are made up of fibrous elastic tissues, right. They are very much fibrous in nature and they are tough, right, so that they can do the work of pulling and the pushing, right, and we can easily lift something. So they need strength. So they are very much tough and elastic. Then muscles are attached to the bones by a tough band of tissues called tendons. So these muscles are attached to the bones with some tissues, right. They are also very much tough in nature and elastic. So what are these tissues? So they are the tendons. So the muscles are attached to the bones by means of tendons, right. Muscular system is responsible for the movement of the body. So that we can say that muscular system is also responsible for the movement of our body. For example, if we want to move our hand, right, if we want to move it, so the biceps and triceps, we need the movement of biceps and triceps. So there are different type of muscles and tendons, they are located in our body, which helps in this movement. Okay. Dear children, during the movement of the body, we cannot say that only one muscle is involved. No, there are different muscles which are involved in the movement of our body, right. Muscular system, they are consisting of 3 different type of muscles. You can see first one is the voluntary muscles, second is involuntary muscles, and the third one is cardiac muscles. So now we will discuss each of them in detail. So first is voluntary muscles. They are also known as skeletal muscles. These are those muscles that are under our conscious control. So the voluntary muscles, they only move according to our control, right. So these are the muscles that are under control, means whenever we want to move our hand, we are moving, right. So that is under our control, right. If we want to move our leg, so at that time we can move our leg, so that is also under our control. So those muscles which are under our control, those type of muscles are known as voluntary muscles or skeletal muscles. They work in pairs, like one muscle in the pair contracts while other relaxes to produce movement. So this type of muscles, they always work in pair. In higher studies you will learn about the structure of muscles, then you can understand it in better way. But here you have to remember that this type of muscles, they work in pair. So one muscle is contracting and the another muscle is relaxing to produce the movement. This type of muscles are found in arms, legs, neck, shoulder, tongue, eye, etc. So you have to remember that where these voluntary muscles are found, right? So they are found in the legs, arms, neck, eye, shoulder and even the tongue, right? So we use this type of muscles while reading, writing, running and even walking. So this was all about voluntary muscles. Now we will discuss about involuntary muscles, right? They are also known as smooth muscles. So the second one is involuntary or smooth muscles. These muscles, they are not in our control, right? They work on their own. So in voluntary muscles, what we see that those type of muscles, they are under our control, right? So whenever we want to move those muscles, we can move. But in voluntary muscles, they are not in our control, right? They work on their own, right? So this type of muscles we cannot move by our own. These muscles are not connected to the bones. So these involuntary muscles or the smooth muscles, they are not connected to the bones, whereas the voluntary muscles, they are connected to the bones, right? Where those type of muscles are found? So voluntary muscles are found in the arms, legs, neck, right? So those type of muscles, they are connected to the bones, but the involuntary or smooth muscles, they are not attached to the bones. So now where this type of muscles are found? They are found in the internal organs such as mouth, stomach, intestine and lungs. For example, whenever we eat food, right? So at that time the mouth help us to pass that food through the food pipe to the stomach, right? So that is not in our control. It happens naturally. It is the natural phenomenon of our body. Then whatever the digestion takes place in our stomach, that is also not in our control, right? Whenever we eat, the digestion process takes place. Then the excretion process, right? So that is also not in our control. So this type of phenomena, they are not in our control and they are regulated by this involuntary muscles or the smooth muscles. So you have to remember that these type of muscles are found in organs like mouth, stomach, intestine and lungs, right? So now we will discuss about the cardiac muscles. Now the third one is cardiac or heart muscles. Children, you have to remember that whenever the term cardiac is there, it means that it is related to the heart. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about the cardiac muscles, which means the heart muscles. These type of muscles are found in the heart. So this type of muscles, they are found in the heart, right? They are involuntary and keep on pumping the blood throughout the body. So these type of muscles, they are involuntary and they keep on pumping the blood throughout the body, right? So the main function of the heart is to pump the blood throughout our body, right? So you might have a question that if this type of muscles are involuntary, so they may be included in the involuntary muscles, right? But there is some difference. So the cardiac muscles, they are only found in the heart, right? But the involuntary muscles, they are found in different organs, like they are found in the stomach, intestine, lungs. So the same muscles, they can be found in different organs, but the cardiac muscles, they are only found in the heart, right? So that is why it is the different branch in the muscular system. So I hope that now it is clear to you that why this cardiac muscles, they are a different category. Then these muscles works throughout our lifetime without getting tired. So these muscles, they work out throughout our lifetime, right? Means they are not even taking a rest until and unless we died, right? So the heart pumps throughout our life. It only stops when we are dead. So this was all about cardiac muscles. So dear children, here these chapters end, right? So let's have a quick recap of whatever the things which we learned today in this video. So first we discuss about joints, right? What are joints? Then we learn about different type of joints. So first we discuss the hinge joint, then the ball and socket joint, then the pivot joint, and then the gliding joint. After that we discussed about the muscular system, that why muscular system is necessary, right? Then we discuss the three different type of muscles. First we discuss about voluntary muscles and the skeletal muscles. Second we discussed about involuntary muscles, or we can say the smooth muscles. And third, at last, we discussed about the cardiac muscles, which is also known as heart muscles. I hope that you all understand this chapter very well, and even if you have any doubt regarding any of these things, you can write it in the comment box. And even I hope that you all like this video. So please like, share and comment. And yes, don't forget to subscribe our channel and to press the bell icon. Thank you.